Recently, I said something that resulted in a rather provocative headline that China was winning the AI race. It was a great headline, and it certainly caught a lot of attention. But as is often the case with headlines, the foundation, the nuances, and the critical disclaimers were left entirely out of the picture. To truly understand this global competition, you cannot look at AI as a single holistic entity. It's not simply a matter of ChatGPT versus DeepSeek. You have to look at it across all of the technological stacks and across all of the industries. I like to think of AI as a five-layer cake. Let's simplify it into these essential layers: energy, chips, infrastructure, models, and applications. If we handicap this race from the bottom to the top, a much clearer, more complex picture of the global AI landscape emerges. Let's start at the foundational layer: energy. Currently, China has about twice the amount of energy capacity that we have as a nation. It makes no sense to me that there are economies larger than ours in this regard. One of the most important initiatives right now is the reindustrialization of America. When I first met with President Trump, the very first thing he said to me was that we need to onshore manufacturing again. We need to help America make things again. That sector of the economy has been offshored and completely gutted, and we need to bring it back. It will create jobs and secure our future. But how do we build chip plants, computer system plants, and these massive AI data centers, what we call AI factories, without abundant energy? We are simultaneously building 3 different types of factories, and every single one of them requires immense power. For too long, we have vilified energy production. Helping the country realize that robust energy infrastructure is fundamentally necessary for our technological and economic growth is absolutely critical. Right now, at the energy level, China is growing straight up while we are somewhat flat. Moving up to the second layer, chips, the United States is generations ahead. I think everybody clearly recognizes that our chip architectures are the most advanced in the world. But we absolutely cannot be complacent. Semiconductors rely on a complex manufacturing process, and anyone who thinks China cannot manufacture is missing a massive reality. For instance, China heavily subsidizes the energy cost for a chip company, discounting it by around 50%. They even provide free transportation for employees to get to the factories. When our base energy cost is already more expensive, and they discount theirs by half, our manufacturing costs can easily be 4 to 8 times higher. Then we reach the third layer, infrastructure. If you want to build a data center here in the United States, from breaking ground to standing up an AI supercomputer, it probably takes about 3 years. In China, they can build a hospital in a weekend. That is a real challenge for us. At the infrastructure layer, their velocity of building things is extraordinarily high because fundamentally they are a nation of builders. We must also acknowledge that Huawei is one of the most formidable technology companies the world has ever seen. Regardless of the state support they receive, they deserve immense respect. They are agile, they move incredibly fast, and they are fierce competitors. We once thought that if the US was not in China, their AI and semiconductor industries would be set back. That absolutely has not happened. Instead, their semiconductor industry is doubling every single year. While the rest of the world's semiconductor industry is growing at a healthy 20% to 30% compounded annually, China is doubling. It doesn't take long to catch up at that compounding rate. We have to look at their strategy for technology proliferation. Take 5G as the perfect example. 5G isn't just a technology. It's a platform upon which countless services are built. In the tech world, if you get there first, you have the time to build the ecosystems, the applications, and the vital relationships. I had 25 years to build NVIDIA's ecosystem because for a long time, nobody paid any attention to what we were doing. Huawei was isolated by policy during the 5G rollout. People thought they were trapped in China. But that isolation gave them a captive market of 1 billion phone users to achieve massive scale. Once they had that scale, they exported the technology to all the countries in the Belt and Road Initiative. Now, there is an AI Belt and Road. Because we have evacuated the Chinese market, their brilliant scientists are building their own complete stack. And make no mistake, the ecosystem there is deep and robust. 9 out of the top 10 science and technology schools in the world are now in China, a reality that has completely flipped over the last decade. 50% of the world's AI researchers are Chinese. 70% of last year's AI patents were published by China. They have an enormous population of highly qualified, incredibly hardworking software developers and computer scientists. Because the United States is no longer participating there, they are aggressively building their own foundation. Once they complete that stack, they will diffuse and export their Chinese AI technology as quickly as possible. They understand that the sooner you build the ecosystem, the sooner you become an essential, sticky, and dependent part of the global digital infrastructure. This is the world we will find ourselves in if we don't activate. We cannot afford to be bypassed.